welcome to Malaysia Economic News. I'm Minister Azam, your new anchor today. Today's top story focuses on one of the biggest economic challenges affecting Malaysia, which is inflation. Over the past few years, many Malaysia has experienced higher price for food, transportation, housing, and other daily necessities. As the cost of living continues to rise, family and businesses are finding it more difficult to manage their expenses. So, what exactly is inflation? Why is it happening? And most importantly, what action has the Malaysia government taken to contribute into this special report? We will first understand the inflation issue before discussing the government three-main strategy, which is fiscal policy, monetary policy, and direct control. Now, let's begin with our reporter at local media.
Thank you. I am reporting live from a local shop where consumers and traders are expressing the effect of inflation in their daily life. Inflation refers to a continuous increase in the general price level of goods and services over time. When price rise, the purchasing power of consumers decrease because the same amount of money can buy fewer goods than before. Let's hear from one of the consumers. I am here to buy some daily necessities such as plates, biscuit, drinks, and personal care products. I have noted that some of these items cost more than they did before. Although the increase may seem small, it adds up over time and affect my monthly spending. Consumers are not the only one affected. Retailers also face higher operating costs, including transportation, supply price, and utility expenses. The higher costs may eventually be reflected in the price paid by consumers. According to macroeconomic theory, inflation may occur due to demand pull inflation when demand is higher than supply, or cost push inflation when production and operating costs increase. Next, now hear from the Minister of Finance.
Thank you for your report. Now, let's hear from the Minister of Finance, who will explain how the government is addressing inflation through fiscal policy.
One of the government's most important tools to address inflation is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy refers to government decisions regarding taxation and public spending to influence economic activity. From the perspective of economic theory, fiscal policy can help stabilize the economy by increasing aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Firstly, the government provides subsidy for essential goods and services, including food and electricity. This subsidy reduces production costs for business, allowing them to keep price lower for customers. Secondly, the government provides financial assistance, such as cash aid for lower-income households. This helps families maintain their purchasing power despite raising price. Thirdly, the government continues investing in essential sectors such as healthcare, education, and public transportation. This investment improves productivity and support long-term economic growth. Overall, fiscal policy has reduced the burden of inflation while protecting the welfare of the nation.
Thank you, Minister. Now, let's hear from the government minister regarding the county monetary policy.
Thank you. Besides fiscal policy, another important measure is monetary policy, which is implemented by Bank Negara Malaysia. One of the main monetary policy goals is the overnight policy rate or OPR. According to macroeconomic theory, when inflation becomes too high, Bank Negara Malaysia may increase the OPR. A higher OPR causes commercial banks to increase leading interest rates as borrowing becomes more expensive. Households and businesses tend to reduce spending and investment. This reduces aggregate demand within the economy, easing inflationary pressure and helping stabilize the general price level. At the same time, Bank Negara Malaysia carefully monitor inflation and economic growth to ensure the economy remains stable and sustainable.
Thank you, Bank Negara Malaysia. Finally, let's hear from KBA on how direct control keep the price of essential goods under control.
In addition to fiscal and monetary policies, the government also applies direct control to protect consumers. Unlike other macroeconomic policies that influence the economy indirectly, direct control immediately regulates market behavior. One example is setting price ceiling for selected essential goods during festive seasons. The government also conducts inspection at markets and retail stores to ensure traders comply with approved prices. Furthermore, authorities enforce law against profiteering to prevent businesses from charging unreasonable prices. This measure help ensure that essential goods remains affordable while protecting consumers from unfair pricing practices.
Thank you to all our reporters and guests. From today's report, we have learned that inflation is a macroeconomic issue that affects consumer, businesses, and the country overall economy. Inflation reduces purchasing power and increase the cost of living, making it important for the government to take appropriate action. Malaysia addresses inflation through three main approaches. First, fiscal policy by providing subsidy, financial assistance, and government spending to support households and businesses. Second, monetary policy, where Bank Negara Malaysia adjusts the overnight policy rate to manage inflation by reducing borrowing and spending. Finally, direct control including price ceiling, market monitoring, and anti-profiteering enforcement to protect consumers. In conclusion, while inflation cannot be eliminated entirely, the combination of these three policies have maintained price stability, support economic growth, and improved the well-being of nation. Thank you for watching Malaysia Economic News. I'm Melissa Karina binti Muhammad Azhar. See you again in our next report. Have a great day. Thank you.